Hey, this is Steven Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark. This was for September 1st, 2020. And they're just going big with these Darks, folks. We had, for once though, we had an even amount of matches, which is, believe it or not, they have not done that in a very long time. 12 matches. Yeah, that's right. 12 matches, over an hour and a half show. There were some enhancement talents, at least they're enhancement talents right now, that really shone, and I want to discuss that. This might also be the first time in AEW Dark, let me confirm that, where all the matches got 3 checks. I'm not 100% sure that's correct, but we'll check on that as well. Our commentators are, and this is AEW Dark number 49, by the way. Can you believe how many of these I've done? Truly amazing, but it's really a testament to AEW for sticking with this. I would just assume it was a project that they have stuck with and they've really made a good thing out of, and I'm really happy it exists. Excalibur and Taz are our commentators, so I guess Excalibur is back in the good graces and all good in the hood. Number 1, first match, Eddie Taurus, I believe this is his first appearance, against Shawn Spears. Typical Shawn Spears match where there's a little bit of give and take, but that he dominates, wins with the Death Valley Driver, and then punches him with the loaded glove afterwards. Notable things though, Eddie Taurus, really good seller. Doesn't have the super great body or anything like that, but he looks like a wrestler and he sold incredibly well. And by sell, I don't just mean physically taking the bumps well and that kind of thing. I mean facial expressions in the whole 9. I really liked Eddie Taurus in this role, did a good job, 3 checks. And again, as a reminder, what do I mean when I say checks? If you're a first-time listener or forgot, every match, it makes no sense to evaluate them on a star basis unless they are highly competitive matches. So what I do is 3 checks. First check is if the proper person wins the match. So almost every match will get that 1 check, unless I feel like they've screwed up the match so badly that they don't even warrant that. The second check is for if you made the talent to be enhanced look good. Meaning for Eddie Taurus, his job is to make sure Shawn Spears looks fantastic, since he's a performer that's going to be on the main roster. And then the third check is for if the person in defeat looks good in defeat. Now, this is a very subjective thing. Even if somebody just basically gets no offense, there's still ways to basically ensure that you're putting yourself in a position to possibly get the gig, which is the goal, which is why I came up with the 3-check system. Makes sense? Awesome. Match number 2, Santana and Ortiz. As many longtime listeners of my AEW stuff know, they are my favorite tag team, which might strike people as very strange. I just think they're fantastic. They're against Fabu Andre, who I'm sort of getting used to and liking more, and Rob Risen, who I think a lot of from the Colorado area. He's a good friend of Matt Hardy's. I would imagine that's why he's here. But he really goes all out performance-wise, and his whole look and all the rest of it. Not a lot to talk about in this match. It's a 3-check match. Santana and Ortiz obviously win. They look good in the process, and in the moments where they let Fabu Andre and Ryzen shine, they did a good job of letting them shine for just a little bit, but it's really supposed to be Santana and Ortiz winning this in dominant fashion because they're the ones who are going into the thing with the best friends. And then Santana and Ortiz cut a promo afterwards, which I thought was a nice surprise and really good, about belittling the best friends. Awesome. We get a preview for All Out featuring Jericho. They intersperse the All Out ones featuring Jericho talking about the Mimosa match and his history with AEW with the ones with MJF talking about how Moxley promised he was going to do all this stuff, but now I'm going to deliver. And it does beg a question for those of you with AEW who listen to this, and I certainly appreciate that, by the way. Can we have some set promos that you use consistently for the next pay-per-view that feature top-level baby faces as well? AEW has gotten in this thing. I love the fact that they have like a set MJF promo that they use for this All Out, and they put it all over their programming all the time. I love that they have the Jericho one. I think they are missing out by not having other people who could be potential draws or people of interest. Hikaru Shida, I think a nice little thing for the next pay-per-view for her, for example. Or John Moxley, for example. Or really anybody. I would like to see that as well. But that is not complaining about the Jericho one or the MJF one. I think they're both great. I would just like to see baby faces highlighted as well. Number 3 match, Cassandra Golden was a great match with Ali. It was fun to see Ali not in the tag team anymore for a match. 3 checks all around. Cassandra Golden really makes her presence felt. She's a little bigger and stronger than Ali, so they worked that into the story. It all made logical sense. Put over Ali's finisher of basically that guillotine elbow drop. Meat and potatoes, really good. Ali looked like $1 million, not even just in terms of ring work, but she just has her whole look together. She looks great. Check marks, 3 of them. Good job, Cassandra Golden. Hope to see more of you. Then we had Santana and Ortiz, who were going to do a live promo, or with, I believe it's Kendra, with the microphone. And then they get attacked by the best friends, and then they call for help and then cut out of that. So that's good. We didn't have to watch them brawl around. Sometimes those things can get a little repetitive. But we get the point. Santana and Ortiz talk smack. They try to talk smack again. Best friends jumped them, hyped for their match. Great. Then we get the MJF all-out promo. Awesome. Number 4 match, Frankie Kazarian against Angelico. I would expect Frankie Kazarian to win this, actually, and he does. And it's a really good match. I'll just give it 3 check marks, even though it is a competitive match. I just thought it served its purpose well. Frankie Kazarian manages to make the Scorpion Death Drop look really good. How good? Better than Sting does it. It just looks like a more brutal move when Frankie does it, but it's safe. I'm a big fan of Frankie Kazarian, as we know in his ring work. We get a commercial for AEW Heels, which my daughter is a member of and enjoys. And then we also get a great interview segment with Tony Schiavone with Brandy. Tony Schiavone, okay, I'm just going to say this and I'll probably get in trouble for it, but whatever. Jim Ross is still great, but he is not as good as he once was. But Tony Schiavone is perhaps better in the roles that he has chosen to take on, better than he has ever been. And I think that should not go unsaid or unstated. Brandy cuts a very entertaining promo, I have to say, where she's calling out Anna Jay for jumping her from behind. This promo did 2 things that were really good. As much as people sometimes want to rail Brandy, hey, it put over Brandy's sort of altering persona that she's changing into, and it put over Anna Jay. As much as it sounded like she was belittling her, in effect, she was putting Anna Jay on the map, and I thought that was great. And I put a note here, I hope Anna Jay wrestles later, and she does. So even more effective. We get the Jericho all-out promo. Then we get match number 5. Oh, is that what I did? Did I mislabel stuff? That's what happened. 5. It is 11 matches. I just mislabeled here. That's what happened. Donnie Primetime, who's another QT Marshall student, I believe, and Ryan Rembrandt, against Austin and Billy Gunn. Super meat and potatoes on this one. Billy Gunn takes on the lion's share of the work. I'm sure Austin takes heat, which is great. And then, but tags Austin in so Austin can get the win. Just, Billy Gunn just directing traffic out there. It was fine. Meat and potatoes, 3 checks. And Austin is going to continue to use that. They're calling it the quick draw, that hip toss neck breaker. I got to admit, it looks better and better every time. Maybe I'll someday take back how much I don't like it as a finisher, because they continue to do it well. Danny Jordan is back in match number 7. I'm so excited. She looks good. She has lost weight. She looks more athletic. She's more confident with the burn book, no longer a flimsy folder. We see that she's added a page about Abaddon, which I think is really great that she drew herself. That looked like shit. Should have had David Ali draw the picture for you. 3 checks, big time. Danny Jordan is tied with 2 other people for doing the best job. She's gotten the best match. She's gotten the best enhancement match out of Abaddon that anybody ever has. Let me repeat that. Danny Jordan has gotten the best match out of Abaddon that anybody has yet. We note that Abaddon is number 4 in the women's ratings. Okay, so she's soon to be part of the main show, I'm gathering. Danny Jordan sell off the clothesline, fantastic. The story of Abaddon not doing wrestling fucking moves makes me so happy. She sees Danny Jordan's knee brace and she just goes after that leg, after that leg, after that leg, rip, tear, shred. Danny Jordan, in her limited offense that she received, it was about the right amount. She looked good in it, but her sells and the way that she put over that leg, and then Abaddon just putting on some kind of crude leg lock to get the submission win, worked for me. Please do not have Abaddon do that Widow's Peak finisher. Please stop her from being exposed by having her do too much wrestling. It should be about vicious. I find a weakness and then I go after it for an unnatural degree. Danny Jordan had the good thing of, I'm confident and I'm ready for an athletic contest, but selling that she was scared of Abaddon, but not to a cartoonish extent. High marks for Danny Jordan, high marks for this match overall for what it was supposed to do. Great job, Danny. Number 8 match, Ricky Starks against Tony Donati. Taz comes up with a great thing and then ruins it. Comes up with, we're building assassins, which sounds awesome, and then he kept talking and he fucked it up. But he seemed to know that. He's like, I should quit talking on that one. Starks continues to win me over, even though I just don't want to like the guy. I gotta admit he does a great job, and that it's Starks' season for a reason is hysterical. A really good match with Tony Donati here. Tony Donati continues to improve. I gave him 3 check marks. Finish off with the Rochambeau, which at first it didn't look like Ricky Starks had, but he doesn't panic. He just sets it, gets the move up, delivers effectively. Great job, Ricky Starks. Great match. This is the 8th match now. Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against John Cruz and David Ali. I expect this to be very good. Marco Stunt's out there in crutches, putting over the fact that he took beating from Jake Hager. Right? My favorite move was David Ali getting picked up and then taking that tail whip kick from Luchasaurus, flipped into a flatliner by Jungle Boy. I thought that looked really great. David Ali did a stellar job. John Cruz always does, but I really noted how good of a job David Ali did selling and how he just looks like a star out there. Some people just have that quality about them, and David Ali has certainly gotten it and developed it. 3 check marks here. MJF all-out promo happens. See what I'm saying? It's just the same 2 again and again and again, which I love those promos. I wish they had more. Okay, I'll quit belaboring that point, sorry. Number 9 match, yay, Anna Jay against Red Velvet, who everybody knows I'm a huge fan of the Red Velvet. I hope she sticks around. A good workman-like match that does not expose Anna Jay as being green and does not expose Red Velvet as well. Both of them look great. 3 check marks, rear naked choke, Anna Jay's new finisher. It's exactly what they should do. That little neck snappy move where she flips over that Mr. Perfect and others used to do, that should be saved for an impact finisher perhaps, but I think putting over the rear naked choke, especially in light of what happened to Brandy, what she did to Brandy, is the right move. 10th match, Shawn Dean versus Kip Sabian. Shawn Dean quietly moving up the card here on AEW Dark, and deservedly so. Him and Kip Sabian probably have the best competitive match of the bunch, save the main event between the Initiative and Private Party. It's really, really good. The ref, I'm going to just point this out. When Kip Sabian does that bit where he puts his finger on the top of the person's head and kicks their head and looks to see where the field goal goes, no ref has ever sold the fact that it's wide left or it's wide right effectively until this referee. Whoever this referee was played along the best and did the best job because he did it like a football referee would, which is the point of the freaking joke. I know that's a lot to bring up, but Steve, like if you're going to do something, do it well, and this referee worked with Kip Sabian and did it well. Shawn Dean, tremendous. If this guy doesn't get a deal on the roster, I would be stunned. So great. And he sold that twisting neck breaker. Shawn Dean makes you look great, continues to work out, looks better every time I see him. Big, huge fan of the Shawn Dean. Shawn Dean, David Ali, and Danny Jordan should all be incredibly proud of themselves. 3 check marks. Holy shit, we did. We got 3 check marks throughout the whole night for the first time. Great job, everybody. And our 11th and final match, the main event, the Initiative with Leva Bates against Private Party. I've been watching things like Being the Elite and all that, so I'm all hip, dude. I'm hip to your stuff, dude, about all the stuff going on with the Initiative possibly breaking up and Leva managing to hold them together. And, you know, one of them wants to cheat, the other one doesn't want to cheat, and Leva's just managing to barely hold this team together. Can they get their first win against Private Party? No. This is the best I've seen Private Party look, and that's not exaggerating. No screwed up spots. I love the finish where Brandon Cutler of the Initiative hit a 450 and looked like he was going to win. And then one of the Private Party came in, dove, and rolled him up in a cradle pin and got the win that way instead of, we've got to do our finisher. I think it made the Initiative look strong. It made Private Party look great, like they knew how to wrestle and that they were trying to win instead of just going through a choreographed series of bullshit. I thought it looked really good. I love the spot of Leva trying to hit her Hurricane Rana off the apron and cartwheeling out of it as the counter. Then after the match, Avalon apparently splits up, hits Cutler with his 20-sided dice. That son of a bitch. Are they split up? I hope not. Please don't do that. But it made for great drama at the end of the main event of Dark. Then we get a promotion for Dynamite, which is happening tonight. Santana and Ortiz against the Best Friends. Wow. Jericho against Joey Janela in a tune-up match for the pay-per-view, I assume. And Private Party and SCU against the Bucks and Jurassic Express. The winning team will then face off against one another at the pay-per-view, presumably to be the #1 contenders for the tag titles. Awesome stuff. Thank you for joining me. I'm Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, for Platinum versus AEW Dark.